estimated 175,000 young carers identified in the UK, aged 18 or under. Many of them, and particularly in secondary, are experiencing problems at school, such as poor attainment and bullying.
With schools nowadays, they don't understand what a young carer is, and some of the pupils don't even understand. They don't even know what a young carer is.
How can we tell which of our children in school are young carers? Just by looking? Very difficult. They look just like all the other children in the school.
Some carers don't even define themselves as young carers. They don't realise that what they're doing has a name, has a role.
When my mum was really bad, I used to have to miss time off school so I can help her get to appointments, like say doctor's appointments.
When I'm at school, people around me who don't understand the situation that I'm in, they don't know that my mum's blind.
Young carers might be very afraid of what will happen if they tell a teacher about their circumstances.
Even if a teacher does the smallest thing, it can make the biggest difference for a young carer.
In this programme, we will hear from young carers and experts on what teachers can do to help them and find out more about their lives. So who are young carers?
A young carer is somebody under the age of 18, and we come across the young carers as young as 4 or 5 sometimes, and they're looking after somebody in their family who's got a disability, an illness, or a mental health problem or a substance misuse problem. Young carers have all kinds of issues that can get in the way of schoolwork, but teachers can help with those.
My name is James, I'm 16 and I'm a young carer. I look after my mum because she's blind, and I help her with lots of stuff. For example, cleaning, cooking and looking after other siblings.
I class him as my little star. He goes on, helps everybody. He'll do anything. He makes cups of tea, he helps with the cooking and anything. He helps with his dad, and yeah, he'd do anything for anybody really.
This is my family, and I help look after this one, this one, this one, and this one. Help out in the morning, get them ready for school, and just basically keep them amused. When I'm at school, there's people around me who don't understand the situation that I'm in. For example, they don't know that my mum's disabled. They all think that I'm like a general person, when, to be honest, I have more responsibility than some of the children.
All of us will be touched by caring issues at some point in our lives, but it's important to recognise that these young people do have some really quite unique pressures going on in their lives. They're taking on really sometimes quite extreme caring roles that are getting in the way of their education, and they do need specialist support in order to be able to cope with that.
My name's Reese, I'm 17. I started caring for my sister when I was about the age of 12 and a half. My sister's a year older than me. Due to her chronic fatigue syndrome, she was in bed for 2 years of her teenage life, which was really quite depressing for her. So my main role helping her was to just sit with her and watch films with her and just keep her company, really, because she didn't have any friends and she didn't have anything to do when she was in bed for all that time. I also helped by just looking out for my family and cooking and cleaning and taking the load off my mum.
Young carers might be very afraid of what will happen if they tell a teacher about their circumstances, or may feel that their parent has something that's quite stigmatising, mental health difficulties or HIV and AIDS, and feel very embarrassed to share anything. So when a young carer does say something's happening at home or those circumstances, teachers have to be very sensitive in listening to that and hearing that.
I'm Tanya, I'm 16. I've been caring for my mum since I can remember. She suffers from depression and anxiety. She used to be an alcoholic, but she's not anymore. So I help her out when I help her go out of the house because she can't go out on her own. I help her when she's depressed and she can't do things.
So how do you identify young carers in the classroom?
If a pupil starts being late for school regularly, or not handing homework in, or their performance at school drops dramatically and there doesn't really seem to be an obvious reason for it, it's possible that they could be in a caring role at home.
Well, when my mum was really bad, school was hard, I was constantly thinking, is she okay? Is she drunk? And I used to get really upset. I used to cry a lot, and I used to distance myself from people. Because I was spending less time at school, I was like losing out on mates because I wasn't there as much, I wasn't involved.
Some young carers see school as a sanctuary where really they're just trying to blend in. There is a substantial minority of young carers who actually, their anger or their frustrations about caring do flare up at schools, and they might have quite severe behavioural issues at schools where the root cause is their caring role.
Some young carers don't like to speak about their problems. I call them secret carers. They like to keep things closed and quiet. But teachers can find the signs. A young carer is usually very snappy and angry. Sometimes they look for attention because they don't get as much as they should. They're tired and they don't like talking about home life or family.
So what's the impact of these adult responsibilities on young carers?
When my mum was away, my sister needed constant care, so if my mum had to take my brother to a football game or to school or parents' evening, my sister did need the care the whole time. Something that I did do is when she started to get a little bit better when she was in her wheelchair, I had to help her transfer from bed to wheelchair to bath. I had to help bath her.
When my mum was really bad, I used to have to miss time of school so I can help her get to appointments, like say doctor's appointments. I just used to make sure my brother wasn't getting in any trouble. I used to make sure he was up and going to school, otherwise he wouldn't. And just cooking when my mum couldn't, and just normal housework chores and stuff.
I couldn't go and play basketball because it was organised for after schools.
When I'm at school, I used to get tired and stressed at the teachers and stuff.
With school, I try my best to get everything in on time. For example, coursework, homework, and just catching up on work that I've missed because I've been late.
Affects them quite a bit because they don't have the time to do their work like they should do because they've got more responsibilities. They can't just be a child. They have to have the adult responsibility of coming in and not relaxing like they should do. It's a lot for a child to take on, really.
So how can schools and teachers help young carers? One of the first things schools can do is to raise awareness of young carers amongst their staff, for example, with a drop-in session like this one.
How can we tell which of our children in school are young carers? Just by looking? Very difficult. They look just like all the other children in the school.
It doesn't take a lot. Just little changes really make a huge difference to young carers. It's just about being aware and making small allowances. Like one teacher told me, movable goalposts. Don't have rigid rules. Make the goalposts a bit flexible.
I think that a good idea would be that there is a question on an enrolment form for a student to go to a new school. Are you a young carer? Because then the teachers will know straight from the beginning that they do look after someone and they can help them in whatever way that they feel possible.
We make the school a safe place for the child to come forward simply by having a notice board, letting them know that if they are a young carer, if they're looking after someone in the family, who in the school can they talk to so that the child can self-refer if they need to.
All of the young carers would say that at school it would be much of a help if teachers could set up a homework club or some sort of club or organisation where young carers can go.
Teachers need to realise that you don't have to be an expert to provide some help. It can simply be about listening and about knowing who else is out there to give the pupil help. Schools sometimes have counsellors or other pastoral staff, and they might be a really good person to take a lead on support for young carers.
One of the teachers at my school that made a big difference to me was my head of house. As soon as she found out I was a young carer, she helped me through a lot. I was allowed to speak to her when I needed to. She let me have time out of lessons when I was feeling stressed or angry. She'd just be there to listen to me when I needed her to.
I had a few teachers at my school who were very supportive of me because of my caring role, one of which made sure that I didn't give up the things that I really liked to do at school, my hobbies. it was actually a PE teacher who said to me, don't give up on playing rugby, don't give up on playing hockey just because of your sister's illness. We'll try and help you in whatever way. And that was really good because they tried to fix more home games, so then I didn't have to travel anywhere. And he tried to make practices earlier, so then my brother could wait and we could get picked up at the same time. Something that really I thought was important because it was my childhood and I didn't want it to change because of my caring role.
One of the things that really worked for me was a timeout card. That's a little slip that you show to your teacher when you're feeling stressed and feel you need to leave a lesson. You just show it to them and you can leave without getting in any trouble. So you've got time to clear your head and calm down before you go back into the lesson.
Young carers have also told us that it's so important to be able to phone home and find out how the person that they're caring for is. Often a pupil might be in school, but they're lacking concentration because they're so worried about the person at home. And many schools have implemented a phone card, so a discrete card that they can show to the teacher, which gives them permission to use their mobile or the school phone at break times or lunch times. And this can make all the difference to the child.
The Princess Royal Trust for Carers and other charities like Bernardo's and Action for Children run young carers projects in most areas these days. So teachers will find that there are young carers workers who can come into school, work alongside them, offer mentoring sessions in school and also a whole range of support services outside of school that can help the pupil get back on track and re-engaged with their education.
If you'd like to know more about how schools can support young carers, more information and resources can be found on our website, www.teachers.tv.
I'd say to teachers with young carers in their class, don't be so hard on them because they can get stressed. Sometimes it's hard to sleep if you're a young carer, so you're going to be groggy in the morning. Just ignore them when they're stressing out. Don't pressure them because that'll only make them worse.
If it was put into the curriculum, then it would teach everyone about what a young carer is and how they feel, what situations they might be under.
There are a few teachers at my school who are really supportive of me, and I think without them I would not have continued my academic career in the way that I have. I think I wasn't affected as badly as some people are by their caring roles at school because of those teachers, and I really do thank them for helping me, get my uni place and to carry on the dream that I had for my career and not let it get affected by my caring role.
Thanks to the teachers that supported me through my difficult times and helped me along with coursework, I've now got my goal back on track and I can see where I'm going to be in 3 years' time.
Even if a teacher does the smallest thing, it can make the biggest difference for a young carer. I think a young carer is so used to looking after someone else, it must be really nice for all of us just to feel that there's someone out there who cares back.